Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. Hope everybody is well. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I hope your Monday has started very well. How is everybody? How are you doing? How was your weekend? What have you been up to? Have you been playing games? Has anybody been playing games this weekend? Has anybody been starting any new hobby projects? What's been on your table this week? We've got a nice little gang starting already here in the chat. I want to ask you early birds, because I know there's about 35, 36 of you in already, but just like as I've pressed go, somebody posted some feedback on my last video, and I'm not saying it was one of yous, saying that why waste kind of the first 10 minutes kind of greeting everybody and saying hello to everyone. And I replied saying I've always done it. I think the folks that kind of come in appreciate it, and it just gets the stream started. It gets it warmed up while we're waiting for some folks to find the stream and come in a bit later. But then I thought, actually, is that true? So I want you to let me know what do you think? Is it a bit of a ball ache? Is it like, have you read all of the comments and stuff like that early on, and you're not that bothered about me saying hello to folks? Do you appreciate me saying hello to you at the start? I wouldn't mind a little bit of feedback, to be honest. So Jason, no, I don't have black screen on the stuff that I'm watching, mate. It's all working at my end. I've got one screen up which is just kind of like playing the live video, so I should be able to see what you can see, and it's certainly not a black screen as far as I can see anyway. So, tell me what you think anyway about that. Tell me what you think. Tim saying it's fine. Tom Watt saying nice to say hello. Marcus says saying hello is just good manners. That's kind of what I think. I mean, at the start of the stream, it's kind of some people get the notification on their phone or whatever, and then they kind of like settle down, or they get their laptop out and they kind of fire it up and they get ready. So the first kind of 5 or 10 minutes is generally a bit of a just to kind of just break the ice kind of thing, introduce you lot and say hello and see who's in and see what you've been working on and what you've been up to and stuff. But I thought it's always nice to ask. Maybe I've just done it for so long it's become second nature, and maybe everybody just sort of skips over it anyway. So yeah, I thought I'd ask. Where are we up to here? Yeah, nothing wrong with being personal. Everyone seems to say it's fine. Alex says, I really like your streams. Feel like you properly connect with the audience with your setup and that. Well, there you go. That's good enough for me. Then as long as I know that folks kind of don't think, oh shit, I wish he'd just get on with it. I wish he'd just come on. Well, start the topic. We've been here 10 minutes. At least I know now. So in that case, I'm going to go back to the start and say hello to everybody. So we had Lord Maiden in nice and early. Hello, Ian. How you doing? Saying the images look cool. So yeah, the images I can't bring them back up without going back to the original screen. But they're just some different games, some different systems, some images that you might not be familiar with. And what tonight's topic, I guess, is. It's based on a couple of things. One is the fact that last week's stream, it feels like a million years ago now, last week's stream seemed to do really well, and I've had some kind of really good feedback. It's had over kind of like 2,500 views, which is a lot for like a full Monday stream rather than the clips video. And a lot of people seem to kind of this whole boycott GW thing seems to have set a light under a few people looking to see what else is out there. So that kind of prompted me a little bit with the idea. And then I guess just with being at the expo the last week and seeing some different stuff and just kind of deciding some stuff's not for me and playing some games this week that weren't necessarily for me, which we might come on to later. I just thought, expanding your horizons, looking around, seeing what's out there. And it might not be necessarily kind of sort of aimed at the regular audience, if you like, those of you that like me like a million different games. But I think there's a few people, especially with Kill Team just coming out now and stuff like that, and all of the GW stuff that's gone on. There's a lot of people who probably don't really think about what else is out there right the way across the board when it comes to hobbies. So it doesn't matter whether you're gaming or whether you're just a painter or whatever. Maybe you've never really considered what else is out there. So I thought we'd breeze through some. I say breeze. We're going to have a good chat about it tonight. I haven't prepped it in the same way that I normally do because I've been away with the family since Thursday last week and got back yesterday. So I lost the weekend that I normally do a little bit of prep work, and I've been looking after my little one because obviously he's off school at the moment as well, and my wife's working full time. So I managed to carve out a few hours this morning to get the stream set up, but then I've spent the day looking after him and doing that kind of stuff. So I have done some prep, but I haven't made any fancy slides and stuff tonight. So yes, hello Lord Maiden. Jacob, hello to you. He was saying, what game is the Witch Doctor lady from? And I mentioned there in the chat, she's from the Wild West Exodus game, and I actually painted her on a live stream once as well, so I'm sure we can find that video somewhere. Tiberius Wallace, good evening to you. Hello to Ortega in the catch-up. Chris Warden, hello. Jacob, he says, what's about Old Frostbeard there? Old Frostbeard, mate, is the Frost Giant from Mantic Games, and their giants are about like 35 quid. Which again is something that folks who maybe don't always look outside of the big games don't always see. Nigel Jones, good evening sir, and thank you very much. The latest addition to our Patreon club. Just joined the Patreon just before the stream started tonight, so as it's not going to flash up on the screen during the chat, I thought I'd say thank you very much, although you should see your name in the top corner there, the top left hand corner. Peter Kuhlman, good evening. Blizzards, hello. Marcus Super Pumpkin Man, hello to Christian Reeves. Christian, thank you very much. When you come to visit me, you told me about that app, that Rain Today app, and I used it at the weekend, and it is super accurate, and it meant that we had a really wet, I'll maybe talk about what we did at the weekend with the family and stuff, but the weather was pretty awful. It rained pretty much all weekend, but I could see when it was going to stop raining, so we kind of timed doing certain activities around when we knew it wasn't going to rain, and it was like within the space of like kind of 2 minutes either side or whatever. It was super accurate, so I really appreciate you putting me onto that app. Mark Berracloth, good evening, mate. Hello, Glenn Griffin as well. Stu McMurray says, bacon check, whiskey check, blackjack check. It must be Monday evening. It certainly is, mate. I don't know about the whiskey and the bacon, mate. I've got water tonight. I need to. I think I need to kind of wind down a bit from a weekend away. So yeah, I'm trying to get back on the healthy wagon this week. VJ, good morning to you, sir. Hello. Peter Nicholas says, sorry, but I'm here. Hello, fella. Ben M, nice to see you in. He's seen his OD'd on Kill Team videos today. So tonight's subject is the perfect tonic. Yeah, unless folks really want to talk about Kill Team, I don't intend to really talk about it tonight. I'm sure you've all had your fill of all the videos that got released today. Joachim, good evening to you. He says, Rumble Slams on the hobby table is going to be the new game I take with me when I'm hiking. Interesting, mate. Peter Mack, good evening to you, sir. Ed Hanley, good evening as well. He said he's fresh off a glass half dead marathon, so looking forward to a change of pace. Well, there you go, mate. Tony Howell, good evening, mate. Colin Wakelin, hello. Tolmard Greybeard is also in. Bobby Clark, hello to you. Says he's painting desert bases while listening. Michael Cowan, hello. Tim Cafferty, nice to see you as well. And Andrew Boone says, happy weekend from Oklahoma. I've been printing my own copy of 1995's Warhammer Quest. Nice work, mate. And then we got into the bit where everybody was saying hello. Mountain Gremlin Games, hello to you, mate. Where are we up to? Marco as well, nice to see you, sir. Alex M says, I really like it with your streams. Oh, that was we mentioned that one, but hello, Alex. Wayne Hayward, Stuart Hayes, Ryan's in as well. Hello, Ryan, how are you doing? If little Ryan's in there as well, hello to you, sir. Hope Lives says, yeah, it's good to get warmed up. That's kind of what I do. It takes the pressure off me kind of having to like think on my feet instantly. It warms me up, it lets me get into the stream and kind of get warmed up a bit. Ed says, you're the only YouTuber I know who does it. It's nice and helps you stand out. Thank you very much, mate. VG says, I would say whoever posted that doesn't consider them as part of the community. I don't think they do, mate. I assume they watched it because it had GW in the title, which always gets the clicks kind of thing. But I just thought it was good to review and check and see if that's the kind of thing. Sid Bailey, hello, mate. He says, greetings from Liverpool. He likes the beginning greetings. Well, nice to say hello to you, Sid. Right, that just jumped there as I moved the mouse, so let's get back. Yeah, Mark's saying it also allows the latecomers not to miss out as well. Yeah, Tony's saying fine by me. Yeah, it's good to pick up on any tech issues as well. You are not wrong there, mate. Blizzard says, I like the hellos. Too much bad manners in the world. Michael Cowan, the welcome is part of the reason I come back. There you go, see? So whoever thought it was a waste of time, yeah, everybody else seems to appreciate it. Tiberius says, I've been playing darts, which is a game. Do you know what it is, mate? I had this random conversation with my wife over the weekend about buying a darts board, and I don't know where the hell it come from. But yeah, I did consider buying a dart board. Danny's in saying MCP, yeah, baby. We will touch on Marvel tonight as well, mate. Carrie, nice to see you as well. He says, makes me feel I'm part of the community. You are part of the community, mate, as is everyone. Scott Latham, good evening, mate. Yeah, VG says the Frost Giant in the original image is such a nice model. It is. I really like the Night Stalker version of the Giant as well. I think they kind of showcase some of what Mantic can do with modern stuff. I mean, something that we all agree is like some of their older stuff hasn't kind of aged very well. But yeah, the newer stuff they've been doing the last few years, it's pretty much bang on now, I would say. Peter says, your guys meeting at the pub vibe is what makes this channel special. I just wish I could go and meet you in the pub more often. That would be better, mate. Jimmy Moscow, hello. He says, hi from Texas. Hope everyone's having a great day. Manus maketh the man. There you go, mate. Tizzy Brindrin said he had a good weekend. Played a few games of Vampire the Masquerade heritage board game. Speaking of Vampire the Masquerade, I'm sure I saw... Was it on Netflix or was it on Amazon or something? There's a documentary about Vampire the Masquerade. I'm assuming it's more to do with the LARP and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm sure I saw that with the corner of my eye somewhere. Playtested a new game called 44 BCE on Saturday. Interesting. He said he likes saying hello to people. Yeah, Tim saying people will boycott GW until their army gets a new model until Codex Battletome. or until GW says, we'll make sure that you're going to get one of these Kill Team boxes, and then everyone's all is forgiven. It's fine. Ariel, hello to you. He says from sunny Florida. I would love to get to Florida, mate, one day soon when travel allows again. Hello, Peter Maxian. Epic Encounters Frost Giant. Looks amazing. Get to see one. I've saw kind of images of it online, mate, but I must admit I've not seen those Steamforged ones. Anna Robinson, good evening, Anna. How are you doing? Getting your full name in there as well. Carrie says, I was all set to focus on non-GW games with my disappointment on Curse City, but then Kill Team, and I got excited for it. Kill Team, to be honest, has completely passed me by now. I've kind of weighed up all the options, and I've read some kind of reviews and stuff today as well, and it's confirmed everything that I thought it was going to be from the information GW have released. That it's not going to be as simple as I would have liked it to be, and it's probably sounds like it's going to be even more complex than current Kill Team. So yeah, not for me. Yag Civic, I'm assuming it's SIPCC as opposed to trying to pronounce it, but his Bloodfield's looking really good. They have an expansion for the core game, and just use that in updated rules as well. It's made by Titans Forge, so you can get STLs or a physical copy. It's happened more and more, that, to be honest, with companies doing STLs and stuff, certainly outside of the big ones, or the bigger ones, I should say. Chuck and Deb Taylor, good evening, or good afternoon, I should say, watching during lunchtime at work. Let's flick back to that one as well. Mark was saying painting some Marvel tonight and Infinity Minis, nice one. Derek says, evening all, just finished a club committee meeting. Oh, what fun. I can imagine, mate. Bruce is in as well. Nice to see you, mate. This is planning his colour scheme for his 5 Parsecs antagonists. After finished penciling this comic page, I might be mentioning 5 Parsecs later as well, mate. And Yag saying about 1-page rules as well. I might also be mentioning 1-page rules at some point tonight. Brian Schmidt, good evening, Brian. Says excited for Kill Team. Haven't done any model building or painting in over a year. Well, it's nice to see you coming back to it, mate. Whatever gets you excited, mate, to get back into your hobby and stuff can never be a bad thing, can it? Alex says hopefully we can chat about Warhammer Hordes. Would love for it to be resurrected. Interestingly, it's not on my list to talk about tonight, but I did see a post recently that another UK retailer is basically no longer selling or stocking their product anymore, and it does feel like it's a bit of a death knell for privateer press at the moment. So maybe we will talk about that later. Glenn says, remember that show Bullseye? It was great. In one. I do remember that, mate. Marcus said, in Texas, not greeting people will get you the ugliest looks from everyone. I think it's kind of manners in the northeast here as well. I mean, everyone, even like random strangers, people say, all right, like how are you doing, kind of thing. People kind of greet random strangers up here. Marcus saying he's getting a little annoyed. GW taking 2 months to deliver 3 bottles of lead belcher. Wow, mate. I'm sure you must be able to get that somewhere else locally. Paul McElroy, good evening. Hello to Connor as well. And Tizzy Brain Drain says, yeah, I've heard of that documentary. And as someone who's played a lot of Vampire, it's pretty high on my watch list. I think I just saw it when I was looking for things to watch, and I saw it out the corner of my eye. I might have even like kind of put it into my watch list to watch back at some point. And Tim Morton says, hi everyone. Hello Tim, how are you doing? So hello everyone. And how long did it take me? It did take me nearly 15 minutes, but we have been rabbiting about other stuff as well. And as if by magic, there's now 78 people in the chat. So that's why I do those kind of introductions. One, I like to see who's in here. It's nice to see it. If you are watching tonight, because I don't think I've said hello to 78 people, if you are in the chat and you haven't said hello, please say hello. It would be nice just... What's that one? Tim Morton pledged £5 via Patreon. Thank you very, very much, Tim Morton. Much appreciated. Nice to get some new blood into the Patreons and into our Discord chat as well. Thank you very much for supporting me and supporting the channel, mate. If you are new here, if this is your first time, if you're a long time lurker and you tend not to say hello or anything like that, please say hello. It just means I get to know a few more folks, and it's nice to see who's out there. Vijay saying the whole Warhammer Hordes thing passed me by as it happened while I was out of the hobby. I do really like Monpok. I played a lot of War Machine back in 2nd edition. I've said this many times before. I used to kind of sort of travel around tournaments and kind of I went to like European team championships, and I went to the UK championships and stuff like that. Travelled to lots of different places, and I mean it's sad it's declining, but these games don't decline for no reason. Games don't just disappear kind of over time because everyone loves them. So Captain F Castle, good evening. He says, haven't managed to make a live stream for a while. Evening all, nice to see you. Tyrese, I think we should start sending birthday cards to get read out like on children's TV. Do you want me to stop pinning them on the wall behind me as well so everybody can see it? So weekend, what I do, I went away with my family at the weekend. Went to Blackpool for a few days. Obviously travel is still a bit of a pain in the backside at the minute, for all things are starting to unlock a little bit, and I'm feeling a lot more kind of sort of positive about the future and sort of getting back to normal and things. I'd love to get a foreign holiday with a bit of sunshine, but unfortunately there's so many things are kind of moving at the minute, with things being on red lists and amber lists and green lists and extra tests needed, and things probably not being as open as things are in the UK as well at the moment. It's not. I don't really want to kind of spend money to go away on a foreign holiday and actually not have a very good time. So we've decided to kind of just book a few little kind of weekend breaks around the UK and stuff. So Blackpool, for those who don't know, is like a seaside town over in the northwest of England. It's kind of a little bit stuck in the past, shall I say? It kind of its kind of maybe 70s and 80s former glories, if you like. But I've got a bit of a soft spot for it. I used to go as a kid when I was little. My mum and dad went on their honeymoon there many, many years ago. And yeah, we had some little family holidays there. So my wife had never been, my little boy had never been. So yeah, we went there for the weekend. And as I say, it absolutely chucked it down. But we did manage to do things like we went to the kind of like the Waxworks, the Madame Tussauds. We went to, where else? We went to the Sea Life Centre. We went to the Pleasure Beach, to the fairground. We went to the big swimming pool there, the Sand Castle, with all the big slides, the big water park thing. And we generally just done some kind of fun family things. So yeah, we went to the kind of the arcades and played on the little games, the little kind of soft toy games and stuff like that my little boy liked. So yeah, it was just nice to spend a bit of time together. Had some nice food, went for a few nice meals, sort of shared a few bottles of wine with my wife. So yeah, it was nice just to have some family time together. Paul says Blackpool is dirty, vulgar and morally questionable. I love it. Yeah, I love it as well, mate, for exactly the same reasons. And Glenn says, any hobby stores in Blackpool? I did pass out a Warhammer, mate, but I must admit I did Google, especially when the weather was a bit wet. I did Google to see if there was anything dotted about. There was a model shop which was more like model railway stuff, which was not too far away, but yeah, I didn't venture for that one. Captain Castle says Paul's not wrong. Yeah, I have fun memories. I've been I went as a kid on holidays and stuff with my family. We didn't have a lot of money, and that was kind of I don't think I even left the country. I never went abroad until I was about 16, 17, I think it was. So I wasn't one of these kids that was off to Florida at 10-year-old and stuff like that. And I've been on not like stag do's, but like kind of like weekends away with groups of lads and stuff like that, like when I was younger, like sort of like 19, 20, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've got some fond memories of the place, and I did enjoy the weekend. Cat Smith saying, hi all, was at Blackpool a couple of weeks ago, went to Funny Girls. I did pass that, but obviously with a 4-year-old, that wasn't exactly our plan for the evening. So yeah, so that's what my weekend was like. Yes, Juicing, remember trips to see the illuminations? Yeah, I don't think they're quite what they used to be now, but yeah, they are still up there. So yeah, that was my weekend. I didn't get any hobby done. I did play a game last week that I was meant to be recording a review video for, which I decided against, and that game was, I'll not pick the whole box up, but I will pick up the lid, was this one, which is, I'll move it a bit closer to the screen, the Masters of the Universe, A Field of Eternia, which goes up onto Kickstarter or GameFound, which is like another Kickstarter platform. That wasn't me, by the way. That was the box lid going back on. It goes up on Kickstarter this week, and I've been playing it for the last couple of weeks, really, just going through the different game modes and making sure I got a full kind of rounded opinion before I reviewed it. And unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it in the slightest. I thought it was pretty dull. So I emailed the company and I've said, unfortunately, for a number of different reasons, I've already spent too much time on it. I'm not making any money out of this. I'm reviewing it because they asked me if I was interested in seeing it. I'm not getting paid for anything. I said I've already spent too much time on it, so I'm not going to spend more time making a negative review video. So I didn't. Tim, right? Honestly, it was a box. So yeah, I decided I'm not going to review it. I can't recommend the game. I don't think it's worth the money. I don't think the gameplay is very fun, and I also think that it's a basic Euro game with a Masters of the Universe kind of like splash of colour over top of it. It doesn't really seem to kind of, it doesn't feel like a He-Man game. So yeah, rather than me spending another 2 or 3 days recording stuff for that and being quite down and quite negative, which I think wouldn't be a very interesting video, I thought I'd just mention it. Glenn says, what about the miniatures quality? Miniatures quality, they're nice, mate. I mean, they're all right, but like, I'll get some pictures and I'll pop them in the Facebook group tomorrow if you want to see them. But the thing is, I've got prototype ones, so like for example, if I can just, I'm not going to unpack the box, but they're all right, but I don't know if that is kind of is what you would get if you bought the game. Plus, you only get 8 miniatures. Sorry, you get 10 miniatures. Is it 12 miniatures? You get 12 miniatures in the box, 6 for each of the 2 factions. And I think the game is about £85, £86, €100. I don't think you get value for money for that, mate, for the sake of that. Peter says, sounding more like blasters in the universe to me. Not Masters of the Universe. Andrew saying, dead on arrival. Do you know what it is? People will back it because they love Masters of the Universe, and I've seen some reviews online where people have been singing its praises. I've become very skeptical of people's reviews today after seeing that kind of stuff. But and somebody's saying, is it just dead on arrival, or could it be improved with better rules? I think it would need a completely different game, mate. It's an area control game, which doesn't feel very Masters of the Universe at all. And it basically says how it's got like a narrative storyline that goes through the missions, but essentially you're just playing the same game over and over again and flipping different cards over. Really, it's not like it doesn't really influence the game. It just doesn't feel like it to me. So Tiberius says, but is there a sexy Evil Lyn miniature? There is an Evil Lyn miniature, mate. Sexy, I'll leave up to you. Ed says, well, that saved me some money. I was thinking about getting that. Unless you are really into very long, very drawn out Euro area control games, mate, I'd give it a wide berth. Vincent VT, nice to see you in, mate. How are you doing? VJ says he'd seen that it had been hyped around the place, and given its Archon studio, I had applied my regular rule. The kind of the studio didn't really factor into whether I thought it was a good game or a bad game. If I thought it was a really good game, I think I would have kind of caveated it with kind of do your research and look into the company and whatever. But yeah, I just didn't enjoy it. But it's easier for me to say that in like 5 or 10 minutes on a live stream and give you my honest opinion of it, rather than making a really kind of like downbeat negative video. I couldn't get excited to make a video about it. So there you go. Yeah, Captain Castle says, my mum always says, if you're not nice to say it. I know exactly what you mean, mate. I don't really do negative reviews. If I've played something and I think that I can do a relatively kind of quick review, because what I don't want to do is spend like 2 or 3 days filming a nice review and kind of nice camera shots for me to sit there and go, nah, it was garbage. Like, explain to you also, this is how the game plays. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and yeah, it's not very good. That feels like a waste of everybody's time. Marco said he painted the 2 resin minis that the game were ace, but they were resin. Yeah, not interested in the game. The ones for the game are going to be plastic, mate, and the scale's not as big as I would like for something like a He-Man miniature for painting and stuff. But I don't, even if you're just buying it for the miniatures, I personally don't think you get enough in the box to justify the price. Like if you look on the Game Found page when it comes out, it says you get 84 models in the all-in pledge. However, they count these tiny little kind of soldier tokens, of which you get like 30 of those in the core box. They count those as miniatures as well. And if you buy the all-in pledge, you get 60 of those little kind of tokens. So you're only getting, 24? You're only getting 24 actual minis. So yeah, for me, it's not worth it. Yeah, Glenn's saying about it. It was a company that banned Kickstarter that was renamed. That's exactly one, mate. Yeah. Vincent says he's doing fine. He says, we're found the tabletop club in my area now, so building small armies for Kings of War. Very nice. Saint See a Blade, is that it? Says, I appreciate your opinion of the game. You are welcome. Like I say, I'm not going to kind of bash the game. I'm giving you my honest opinion on it. I think it's only fair that I've taken the time. I have personally taken the time to play. There's 3 different game modes in it. There's kind of like a versus player, like a player versus player, which is 2 to 6 players. There is a co-op or a solo play mode, which I've also played as well. And then there is a skirmish mode, which is meant to be like a more kind of fast-playing version. However, I didn't enjoy any of the 3 versions of it. So I'm hesitant when I've watched some of the other reviews today to see what other people thought. I'm hesitant as how much they've actually played the game and whether they've played all 3 game modes of it. Ian says, is the rule set in stone, or is it in beta open to corrective feedback? I think it's pretty much set in stone, mate, to be honest. I mean, the whole game revolves around it. There's loads of cards, loads of tokens. If you changed much, you'd just be writing a new game. The rules, I think, are actually up online to be able to read them now as well. I just didn't enjoy it, mate. Yeah, Tim's saying that's plenty of a review. You are welcome. Andrew Fairbanks, good afternoon. He says, is there a change to the Wednesday hobby painting streams? I feel like you've missed an awful lot of them as late. I've missed a lot of them of late, mate, because I've been either working. So there was a day where I was filming with Mantic, so I couldn't get the studio ready in time to do that one. I missed some because I was watching England games when the European Championships were on. I missed last Wednesday's because I'll tell you why, because I was playing Masters of the Universe, because I thought I was going to have to film a review on the Thursday before we I wasn't playing it. I was playing it because I thought I had to film the review as soon as I got back to be ready for the Kickstarter going live this week. So I was playing the skirmish mode just to double check kind of like my opinion on it. So no, there's no real change to it, mate. It'll be back on again this Wednesday. I've just it's been a kind of busy summer with I think I canned one because I was going away the next day to UK Games Expo or something like that. There's been a few different reasons, so yeah. Andy Smith says, I was on stage in Blackpool once with a stripper in a wedding dress. Not me. Yes. So yeah, VGC tokens being counted as minis. Classic Archon bait and switch. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just because it's here beside me. I'm going to just open it up. So yeah, like I said, it's a prototype version that I've got. So I can't see. I mean, it feels pretty finished, to be fair, with the cards and stuff like that. But I can't say to you, the quality's fantastic, like some of the other channels have said, because they've all got the same thing. So these things. I can't even show you. These things here, focus on that. These are your little soldier tokens, and there's 30 of them in the box, which they've classed as miniatures in the actual game. And then these are the. Let me try and see if I can get a bit closer. I'll get some better pictures later. But yeah, those are the miniatures basically. So yeah, so that gives you an idea. It won't come in foam like this one does. This is just how it's being sent out to me. But yeah, you basically get Stratos, you get Ram Man, She-Ra, Man at Arms, Teela, and He-Man for the Masters of the Universe, and for the evil side you get Skeletor, Evil Lyn, Beastman, what's he called? Cyclops guy there. What's he called? The guy with one eye, I forget what he's called. Lockjaw and Merman as well. So yeah, it's I personally wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Triclops, that's the one I couldn't remember his name. I knew it was something like Cyclops. So yeah. So what was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about the main topic, wasn't I? So what we're going to do is let's get on to this stuff. Thank you, Christian, as well. Yeah, sharing the links there. Where are we up to? Let me get this up. So yes, we're going to talk about sort of expanding your horizons. There's a whole world out there outside of Games Workshop, and I think people get introduced to gaming a lot by Games Workshop products, and then they get stuck in and they find they've spent so much money on stuff they don't want to look elsewhere. But I think at the minute there feels like there's a little bit of a wave of people starting to explore the world a little bit and see what other games are out there, and potentially kind of, just kind of spread their wings a little bit. So it doesn't matter if you're just a painter, if you're just wanting something to paint, if you're a player, if you're really into kind of competitive games and stuff, or you're just quite more casual as well. There's so much stuff out there. So I'm going to take you through some of the different kind of websites of the different companies I want to talk about. I won't spell Blizzard is saying no Orko deal breaker. Definitely not in the core set, mate. Maybe a stretch goal potentially, but in fact, they also, I know I'm going back a little bit, but they already released some miniatures as like limited editions, like He-Man on Battle Cat and Skeletor on Panther, and they're not re-releasing them. You can't buy them during the Kickstarter either. So there's some miniatures that have been released and you won't be able to buy now, which I found really, really weird. So yeah, we're going to start with Mantic Games. I'm a fan of the stuff that Mantic do. But if you don't know a lot about Mantic, or kind of you maybe know a little bit about them, they do a hell of a lot of different game systems. And you can see here, I think you can see them all on the screen. Yeah, you can. So we've got Armada. So set in this sort of Kings of War fantasy world, you've got Armada, Kings of War. Armada being a naval fleet game or a naval combat game. Kings of War being kind of sort of rank and file sort of 6x4 combat along the lines of Warhammer Fantasy. We've got Kings of War Vanguard, which is their kind of fantasy skirmish game. They have League of Infamy, which is fantasy board game, kind of one versus many. And they also have Dungeon Saga, which is their kind of their dungeon crawler set in the fantasy universe. Then from the sci-fi universe, they have Warpath and Warpath Firefight, which is kind of like the 40k kind of experience, if you like, from them. They also have, where is it gone? I can't see the... Oh, why is it not? Oh, it's up there. That's why I can't see it. They have Dead Zone as well. Dead Zone is basically their kill team type game. Really, really interesting game from a sci-fi perspective. They also have Dreadball, which is think of it like they're kind of their sci-fi sports game, and they have Overdrive, which is coming very soon as well. And then they have Star Saga, which again is a sci-fi dungeon crawler. And then mixed in with that as well, they've also done The Walking Dead, which is a really cool skirmish game on small board size, really kind of accessible sort of from a price point as well. And they've also done Hellboy, the board game, which has some fantastic miniatures in there if you just want to paint some cool stuff up, but also plays really cool as well. So Mantic have kind of been, you kind of forget just how many different things Mantic do. I've talked before about kind of how some of their older stuff I wouldn't say it's debatable. It's just old, and it probably needs updating and stuff. But some of their newer stuff, if I can find, like, let's have a look. Where have we got, like, the giants and stuff? There's the giant there. So here, for example, is one of their giants, and it can be made in a number of different ways. It comes with multiple parts that you can kind of make them up. This is kind of like the main one as well. There is also, gives you a bit of an idea. This one is also, it comes on a 75mm square base, and I'm sure I've read somewhere it's 18 inches tall. I can't remember the size, to be fair, but I'm sure that's 19 centimeters tall. Sorry, not 18 inches. That would be massive. I meant 18 centimeters. It's 19 centimeters tall. And then they do some different versions of it. So if you saw on the cover of my thumbnail tonight, there was the let's have a look. Is it under Northern Alliance? It might be the giant. There it is, the Kings of War Frost Giant, which was the image that was on the front of the thumbnail tonight. So yeah, a lot of you will know Mantic, but it's worth just kind of covering just how many different stuff is out there. So if you're wanting to try some different systems, it's picking up a lot of traction and coming out with some new armies all the time. For Kings of War, for example, there is some kind of news about something happening with Dead Zone soon as well, which was leaked on their last live stream. So there's plenty of stuff to kind of look forward to in the future as well. Next company I want to kind of sort of shine light a bit is War Cradle as well. You'll know I've painted lots of this stuff up on my live streams. They're games and miniatures that I'm a big fan of. A lot of their stuff is resin, and the quality is sort of as good as anybody else, I would say, when it comes to kind of resin miniatures. Really, really sharp quality. And their main games are Wild West Exodus, which is a kind of like a sci-fi Wild West, sort of almost sci-fi steampunk type miniatures game. They have Dystopian Wars as well, which is set in the same universe, but is a naval combat game. They have Lost World Exodus, which is coming soon, which is kind of almost like a sister game to Wild West Exodus. They are also the owners of Firestorm Armada now as well, and although they haven't done a great deal with it at the moment, they do own that game. They have a game called Mythos, which is very much set in that kind of Lovecraftian universe and has some beautiful miniatures. And then they also cover some other stuff as well. So they've got a Bill and Ted's board game called Riff and Time. They cover an Altered Carbon game as well called Panama Rose. They have a Flash Gordon game called Death to Ming. They have a, what's this called again? F&F, something in fire, I think it's called. Or Fog and Friction, that's it. Which is kind of like a card game set in World War II. And yeah, so that's kind of that's a lot of the different stuff that they do. When it comes to miniatures, I mean, let's just very quickly sort of bring one of the things up. If we go to the store and just bring one of their miniatures up just to have a look at them. Let's bring up I don't know what we got. Let's bring up this one here, the Meat Grinder Posse, and it just kind of gives you a bit of an idea of just kind of the quality of the resin miniatures. If you've seen any of my painting streams, I've definitely done lots and lots of Wild West and Lost World Exodus stuff and a bit of Mythos and things as well. Their resin quality miniatures are as good as anybody, if not, and certainly better than most. And I can highly personally recommend them ones. So again, if you're looking for a game system or you're looking for something a bit different to paint or something a bit more unusual, definitely kind of check that stuff out as well. Next up, I'm a big fan of these guys. This is Weird and Weird Miniatures, or Weird Games. They are basically the makers of Malifaux, which is a kind of a steampunk, sort of Victorian sci-fi horror skirmish game with some absolutely amazing miniatures. The Other Side, which is a bit more army scale, based upon still in that world of Malifaux, but on the other side of this breach that has opened. Through the Breach is their RPG game, based again in the Malifaux world, and they've got a few board games coming out soon. Vagrant Song is coming soon. Bayou Bash I actually played yesterday for the first time, and really had a lot of fun with it actually. So yeah, they've got a few board games coming as well. Again, when it comes to miniatures and stuff, the lore of weird games, the Malifaux especially, and the universe around that is just absolutely amazing. It's probably my favourite lore of any miniatures games that is out there. I just absolutely love it, and I can't get enough of kind of reading it and listening to all of their free audiobook sort of podcast things as well. And when it comes to the quality of their miniatures, again, they're plastic miniatures, but I just think they're fantastic quality. They've also started doing some of these starter boxes as well now, for different factions. This is a bit of a sneak peek. I don't think anybody's seen this one yet. It's just been sent out to me. And these these starter boxes actually come with pre-assembled miniatures in them. And they also do some terrain sets as well. So I've just literally been sent these two things. They came in the box with the Bayou Bash that I'm going to be doing a how to play for. So I've not actually had a chance to really have a look at those yet. But yeah, bit of a sneak peek. So yeah, weird games, if you're into kind of those more unusual kind of stuff, definitely games worth checking out. Right, I'm going to very quickly just nip back to the chat and see what folks are talking about. Walter Black, good evening, mate. Said it's important that GW gets some serious competition in the wargaming scene. I think they've got some competition. The problem they've got is people have kind of either dismissed their competitors without even looking at them because they're so invested into GW games, or it's taken a little while for some of these companies to kind of find their feet and stuff. But if you look at things like Kings of War, it's on its 3rd edition. You look at Wild West Exodus, it's got a bit of kind of time behind it now to really kind of settle itself down and find its feet, and has got a fantastic range of miniatures now. You look at Malifaux, which is on its 3rd edition now, fantastic range of minis, kind of really sort of stable rule set now. I think it's just taken kind of some catching up thing. Glenn says click on the halflings. Let me go back, mate, and I'll go back and click on the halflings for you. If I can find them. Here we go. So these are the new faction for Kings of War. I absolutely love these guys. From a price perspective, I mean, this is a halfling mega army. You can get 20% discount off this as well. If you click through my link to Goblin Gaming, you can get 20% off this. And this is a pre-order. And just like this is the kind of stuff that Mantic are doing these days. So these are their new models. So this is everything you see here is what you get in that halfling mega army. But yeah, they're definitely they've definitely come a long way from the like some of the older original sort of plastic stuff. But yeah, this is all injection molded plastic as well, hard plastic, no PVC stuff or anything with this. But yeah, that's basically what you get for the £110, and like I said before, you can get 20% off that. So there's some really, really cool stuff coming from there as well. So where were we at? I was just looking at the chat there as well, see what else there was. Andrew saying, I'm a nut for all things Monster Universe, but Andy's reaction plus this company's track record makes me cringer. Further, the idea I could never get my hands on He-Man or Skelly on their steed. Yeah, I know. I just think that's disgusting me. They should have at least put them in as kind of sort of available to purchase for backers and stuff. Andrew said he's going to be running sessions of Walking Dead at Gen Con next month. I wish I could come to Gen Con, mate. I still don't think you can even fly to America unless it's like an almost sort of emergency business reason or something like that. Yeah, Vincent saying the old minis nothing to write home about, but the new ones are awesome. I agree, mate. Kaylee Anderson, good evening. Says I have the Night Stalker's giant. It's proper gribbly. I like that as well. I really do. Captain Castle saying Games Workshop thrives on the sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. I think a lot of people do that. They think I've spent so much money into this. I shouldn't look elsewhere. I should just keep going. Sometimes it's, in my case, it will be throwing good money after bad kind of thing. I'm not saying everybody's like that. Walter saying, yeah, love the War Cradle stuff, top-notch resin models. Tiberius is saying, I've got Bill and Ted a Riff in Time. I've not played it, mate, actually. I don't know anything about it, the game. VJ says, feels like Lost World Exodus being coming soon forever. Yeah, I think the COVID stuff certainly hasn't helped. A lot of the work they were doing's kind of pushed projects around all over the place. So Dystopian Wars was later than it should have been. And I think it's kind of it's moved stuff around a bit, but it's in the pipeline, I guess is all I can really say about it. Tony saying he's a big fan of War Cradle minis. Glenn saying Flash, he saved every one of us. I'm not going to sing it anyway. Captain F says, love Malifaux. Yeah, me and you too, mate. Walter saying, another great thing about War Cradle, they make all their rules and all future updates free. They do. Malifaux is exactly the same as well. The rules are free online. Mantic, to be fair, as well, all of their rules are free online as well. You may have to get some kind of expansion books and bits and pieces, but certainly Malifaux, certainly War Cradle stuff, rules are completely free to download. All of the cards and everything that you need, all of the stat cards, all free online to download too as well. Jason says, is Dystopian Wars the one they had on Kickstarter last year? No, mate, they've never kickstarted Dystopian Wars. The one they had on Kickstarter, I don't think War Cradle have had anything on Kickstarter, mate. I think everything they've done, they've just kind of released directly. You might be thinking of the of Privateer Press with their, what's their game called? I forget now, but the Privateer Press had a Kickstarter game last year. Vijay says, what was the starter box you showed for Malifaux, mate? Could you show us a close-up? It is the Bayou starter box, mate. So these are, let me lean forward a second. These are for the Bayou Gremlins. And if I flip around the back, that's what you get in the starter box. And they are single-piece miniatures. But these are actually also the 4 characters that you can play in the Bayou Bash board game as well. So they come with like really cool little wooden meeple tokens for the board game, but you can use these as well if you so wish. Blizzard says, Bayou starter I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, it's cool, mate. Wayne here, which says, I got in the hobby with X-Wing 2nd edition. Thanks to people like yourself, I've tried other more obscure games and glad I'm not invested in GW. Don't get me wrong, GW makes some fantastic products, like some fantastic quality products. But I just think that the world is wider than one company, and I'm not trying to tell anybody to spend their money anywhere else. I'm just trying to open people's kind of eyes, open their field of view, if you like, their horizon, into what else is out there as well. Yeah, Andy's saying good to see other companies coming on. Yeah, Silence is saying about reminding everyone Archon Studios was previously Prodos. They were, mate. Yeah, I've not had any kind of sort of dealings with Archon in the past, other than them sending me this box, so I can't really speak. I've never backed anything from them before. Andrew says a lot of people seem to have a hard time understanding they can play other games and GW stuff. Yeah, I must admit I do see that a lot, but hey, everybody spends their money where they spend their money. Scott Latham says, stepping well away from GW, only keeping my Warcry stuff. I've personally kind of found, and this again is my personal opinion, everybody else does the hobby their way, but I have kind of found, after a bit of kind of soul searching and looking and seeing all the stuff that's on my shelf that I never play and never touch, that GW games just, they don't fit with the kind of games I like to play. I don't find them kind of fun. Warcry is the exception for me personally. And I was saying in our Patreon chat today, I will be selling my Cursed City soon. I'm going to be selling my Silver Tower with all the extra kind of models and stuff I've got for it as well. I'm going to be selling my Space Hulk. I just don't play them. I'm never going to paint those miniatures. I'm never going to play those games again. I might as well just try and get some money back for them and spend them on something else. Kaylee says the horrible misogynistic Space Crusader game. I never played Space Crusade, to be fair. Ed says I'd like to be into Malifaux, but the game is deader than Rune Wars around here. I think so. I know you play a lot of kind of competitive stuff, mate, or you certainly play more games. But I think a lot of people feel like that as well. But if they took a bit of a long, hard look at what they actually do and how often they play a game versus how much time they spend online chatting to the community, sort of building models, painting models, reading the background lore. I think if they realised how little they play games, they might feel a little bit differently about stuff. Andy Smith says, can we give Infinity a mention? That is probably a very good time to go to the next one. Oops. So here we are with Corvus Belli and their games as well. So their games that Corvus Belli produce are Infinity. So they do 2 versions. There is Infinity Code 1, which is like a kind of an entry point into the Infinity universe, and then the full-scale Infinity game, which is now on to its N4th edition. And they also make Aristea as well, which is kind of like an arena combat game. I love Infinity as an aesthetic. I love Infinity as sort of as the background lore and the story and things. And I think the miniatures are absolutely fantastic as well. So if I could just click on this one and give you a little bit of a bit of a look. They also as well, I forgot to mention, do some kind of graphic novels as well, Outrage and Betrayal. They've done a kind of dungeon crawler game as well, but it was on Kickstarter and isn't available at retail, so I'll probably not really talk about that. And they've got a new game coming soon as well called Tag Raid. But yeah, the Code 1 stuff, I think it's a pretty cool setting. I think the quality of the miniatures, they are metal miniatures currently, although they are starting to expand a little bit into plastic injection molded plastic models. But as far as metal minis go, I think they are probably the best quality metal minis that are out there on the market. So if you're into this kind of sort of clean sci-fi, a bit Netrunner vibe about it, a little bit of cyberpunk type thing, if you're into that kind of aesthetic, look no further than their Infinity and their miniatures. And from a sort of a competitive standpoint, there's a really kind of thriving competitive scene for this game as well. Next up, we want to talk about Atomic Mass Games. So you may not have heard the name of the company, but you'll certainly know their games. They are now responsible for all of the Star Wars miniatures games, so Star Wars X-Wing, Star Wars Armada, and Star Wars Legion. And they are also responsible for the Marvel Crisis Protocol game. Again, I'm a big fan of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I've mentioned it before. It's a game I kind of don't talk about on streams very often, or don't talk about in videos very often, but it's because I really love the game, and it's the game I play it as my hobby game in the background, so that it's definitely like, it's not work, it is for me, it's for fun kind of thing. So that's the game I kind of play in the background. But yeah, I'm just a massive fan. I love the minis, I love the gameplay. And they seem to be like sort of constantly releasing new stuff. So for those of you that like something new to pick up, there's always plenty of stuff coming out for it. When it comes to the not the science fiction stuff, sorry. When it comes to the Star Wars stuff, I've just noticed actually on their website they haven't updated with Star Wars stuff yet. But yeah, what used to be, or unless it's on here, is it? Star Wars. There's a little bit, I suppose, some stuff about some Star Wars organised play stuff and things and what's happening. But yeah, Star Wars Legion is plastic minis, kind of you got to build and paint yourself. Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars Armada are like kind of like almost like Starship naval combat type things, and they come pre-painted. So if you're not into painting, those might be games that you might actually want to get into to play. Next company I want to talk about is Warlord Games. Warlord, very much known for their historical stuff, things like Bolt Action, Black Powder, and Black Seas. Black Seas being the naval game that Kings of War Armada is based upon. We've got Pike and Shot, we've got Renaissance Gaming, we've got Hail Caesar and SPQR. They have Warlords of Erewhon, which is their more fantasy games. They've got Gates of Antares and Judge Dredd, Doctor Who, which are more their kind of sort of sci-fi offerings, and then they do a lot of stuff with Osprey as well. They also do some stuff for Stargrave in here as well, so they sell kind of the Stargrave range of things as well. Warlord Games, as far as kind of historical gaming goes, probably one of the sort of the more well-known companies, and certainly if you're kind of into World War II setting and stuff, these guys will certainly have you covered. They've got Bolt Action, they've got Blood Red Skies, which is a little bit like X-Wing with their World War II planes. They've got Conflict 47, which is like a weird World War II thing. So there is some kind of let's have a little look on this. So you have kind of you use your Bolt Action miniatures, and then have things like kind of armored infantry and kind of sort of some weird sci-fi weapons and things. They also do, if I can go back to here as well, they do Cruel Seas and Victory at Sea as well, which again are naval combat games set in World War II. So these are the kind of sort of, if you're just sort of touching your toes into a little bit of sort of historical game in World War II, you can do a lot worse than kind of to look to Warlord almost for your first steps, if you like. I would kind of say they're very beginner friendly historical gaming, as opposed to some very, very crunchy kind of historical rule sets that are out there. Next one I want to talk about as well is TT Combat. TT Combat, you might know them best for things like MDF scenery and things, but they are the company that makes Carnival. They make Drop Zone Commander, Drop Fleet Commander, and Rumble Slam as well. Here's some of their very nice MDF terrain. But Rumble Slam's been mentioned tonight, so we'll go into this one. They make some really, really sort of cool... It is basically like a fantasy wrestling game. The starter box basically comes with 2 wrestling teams, which look like this. This is one of them. And this is the other one. I think they're called the Heavy Pounders, and I forget what they call it. Is it the green skin, or Green Bruisers? That's it. So yeah, the Green Bruisers and the Heavy Pounders. It comes with a little neoprene mat as well, all the cards and tokens and dice and stuff. And again, £45. Again, you can get discount if you go through my affiliate link on Goblin Gaming. But yeah, it's a nice little entry game. Where it really comes to life is when you can get these sort of MDF wrestling rings, like £16 for that. Looks really cool when you're playing. And then also once you start to get to some of the factions and some of their models, there are some really, really kind of cool, unusual wrestlers that you can kind of bring into this as well. Just gives you a bit of an idea of some of the... As you can see as well with some of them, they are very much based upon a bit tongue-in-cheek, a bit of a Scorpion King type thing in there as well with The Rock. There are... let me see, we've got some other ones as well. I'll just flick across that. I just think they're really kind of just cool, sort of unusual minis to paint. So if you really, if you're a bit sick of painting Space Marines and Necrons and all that kind of stuff, and you want something a little bit different to paint, you can do a lot worse than picking up some Rumble Slam minis just to paint something a bit fun. So yeah, we'll go back to the chat for a second, see where folks are at here. Let's have a look. Ed saying, yeah, I'd like to be in the Malifaux. We'll just talk about that. Lord Maiden Wild West Exodus was a Kickstarter game but wasn't owned by Warcradle. Yeah, it's never been kickstarted by Warcradle. It was kickstarted twice when it was owned by Outlaw Miniatures a long, long time ago. Tim says, is it lore or gameplay, rules and minis, or both, which makes one game more popular than the other, or is it something more? I think a lot of it is to do with history, really. I think Games Workshop games were pretty much the first ones that were there when it comes to kind of outside of historical gaming, really. And there's a lot of lore and background has been invested into both settings for Warhammer games, and and GW arguably make the finest kind of quality plastic miniatures as well. So I think there's just more to it. People have just been invested into it for such a long time, and unfortunately they have shops all over the high street, which is still how a lot of people find miniature gaming for the first time. So it's just a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think, a little bit. But in this kind of internet age now, I feel like every company has an opportunity to do something with their marketing and get themselves out there. It's just some of them choose not to, unfortunately. They choose not to engage with creators, people like me who can maybe give them some extra kind of eyes on their product. They choose not to make any videos. They choose not to do social media very well. Some do better than others, and some you never really hear from. Let me scroll down a little bit here as well. Tyler Peck says, who's your favourite Rumble Slam wrestler? I'm not sure, mate, to be honest. There's so many really cool ones. I like all the difference. Vijay says, does Rick Priestley work for Warlord, or am I mistaken? I think Rick Priestley is a freelancer, but he does a lot of work for Warlord, mate. Tyler Peak, hello to you, mate. Scott said he's swapping his Hellboy game for Marvel Crisis Protocol Starter. You won't be sorry. Well, I'm saying you won't be sorry. Hellboy's a great game, mate, but I'm assuming you've played it. Marvel Crisis Protocol, mate, you will have a lot of fun with. If I scroll down a bit as well, my latest obsession is Carnival by TT Combat. I talked about Carnival on last week's stream a little bit because I did a demo game of it at UK Games Expo. But yeah, we can always go back and have a look at that a bit later on as well. Not start to say about one-page rules. I'm going to come to one-page rules, don't worry about it. Glenn says, I picked up a Judge Dredd starter set from them back in January. The models are good quality and the rules for the game are straightforward enough, and you can play it solo even better. I think folks forget as well about solo playing stuff. There's some cool solo games out there. Ian says he loves Drop Zone. James says he's currently putting some paint on his Carnival miniatures. I don't know if I said hello to you, James. I saw you come in as I was flicking across to one of the other screens. Hello, sir. Captain Castle saying Bolt Action has a great dice pull system. I really like it as well. I spoke about that a few weeks ago when I was talking about innovative games mechanics and kind of is GW stuck in the past a little bit. Luke Pryor, hello fella, how are you doing? Peter says Warlord is owned by John Stallard and Paul Sawyer. That is correct, mate. It is. Pinata. It is a pinata. He says, "Where the heck is that Skelly boy?" I like that Skelly boy where he's pouring the beer into his mouth and it's kind of leaking out through his robes. Captain Castle said, "I looked at Rumble Slam a few months ago, but everything was out of stock. I assumed it must be dying." No, I think it's just popular, mate. At the minute, it's growing all the time. The models are all resin. And they've just relaunched. They've just launched some new stuff for it as well. I think it's just becoming quite popular, mate. Luke's saying, "I turn up as you talk about Rumble Slam." Must have heard through the internet. Bruce says, "Well, I'm going to do my monthly inquiry for the old GW Legends of Old West physical book. If anyone knows where I can get my hands on one." I'm not. I must admit, mate, it's not one that I'm familiar with to push it. Alex says, "What do you reckon about Parabellum's last argument of kings?" I wasn't a huge fan of the rule set, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. It felt like it was trying to do some things differently for the sake of doing it differently. However, I demoed it way back before it first come out. It might have changed a bit since then. The miniatures are a bit of a strange scale, which I always found a bit weird, so they're not easily used in other stuff. But they have brought out some good starter boxes since I last looked at it, and they've also brought out I forget what it's called now, but there's a skirmish version of it as well that wasn't available when I last looked at it. So maybe it's worth kind of sort of having a second look at. Where was this one up to as well? Silence is saying Rumble Slam looks awesome, which is by a pinata. Yeah, as I say, if you're just a painter and stuff, there's some awesome stuff to paint. You can even if you're banging into your GW games and you just want a bit of a change of paint and pace, something to paint, it's definitely worth a look at as well. Paulie P, hello to you, mate. What's that one? Hope Lives, thank you very much for the donation, mate. Very, very kind of you. I do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Alex M says Oathmark or Warlords of Erewhon. Oathmark is somebody else completely, I think, isn't it? Mountain Gremlin Games says, did anyone mention Dead Zone is life? Yeah, we've been through the Mantic stuff, mate. It was the first one we did. Mark saying Burrows and Badgers and Moonstone are his games this year. Andrew saying, yeah, TT Combat Rumble Slam. I can't play it anymore. I love wrestling. I love fantasy. I bought the female team and enjoyed them. And I showed off the team. The dealers both at a convention. An employee brought one of the minis. Oh my dear, mate. David Christie, hello, mate. Nice to see you in. Says discovered Moonstone on your channel. Got murdered on VAT tax and fixed import toll thanks to Brexit. Hard to promote the game to other local gamers in these conditions, unfortunately. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunately. I mean, that's a bit out of my control, but it's a sorry state of affairs at the moment, mate. Tsudo Maximus says, I would never have thought me being in my 50s could be influenced by social media coverage to get into any particular game, but social media does work even for grognards like me. I think sometimes it's just like if a company puts a video up on their YouTube channel or puts it on their Facebook group or puts it on their Twitter feed, you have to be subscribed or you have to be following them to even see it. So if you're not aware of that company or you've decided that company's not really for you, you'll never see anything that they put out on their own channels. That's where kind of marketing or kind of using social media influencers, for want of a better phrase, or YouTube channels or Facebook groups or whatever, that's where that works. Because, like, for example, the people that come to my channel are already interested in looking beyond one particular game system generally, and so they are open to hear about new stuff. So if you've never heard of a company, and you might not have heard of some of the ones I'm going to talk about tonight, or have already talked about, that's why that works. Tiberius saying, I wish TT Combat would do something with the Relics game. I think it's pretty much, it's not even on their site, mate. They don't even talk about it now. For fans of historical naval combat, check out Firelock Games, Blood and Plunder and Oak and Iron. Yeah, they're not on my list tonight, actually. I forgot about those ones, but they are popular games also. Right, let's crack on with a few more. So while we're talking about historical stuff, coming off the back of Warlord as well, Plastic Soldier Company is a company that was sort of highlighted to me recently, because I've just bought some sci-fi terrain and some game mats off a friend of mine who was very heavily into 40k and has basically given up playing 40k completely and now has moved over into historical stuff. And he plays a game from Plastic Soldier Company, which is called, I'm going to forget the name of it now, so I'm going to have to, let's have a look on the miniatures one and see where they've got. We'll go to the shop, rules here, Battle Group. This is the game that he's been playing at the moment, and obviously with a lot of these sort of World War II games, you can pretty much buy your miniatures wherever you like, but Plastic Soldier Company do make some miniatures for this range as well, and he absolutely loves Battle Group as a rule set. I don't know a lot about it personally, but it sounds like it's a little bit more kind of complex than something like Bolt Action. But if you're looking for something that is a little bit more historically accurate and a little bit less Kelly's Heroes, if you like, then Battle Group might be something that you want to check out. But again, certainly from a company you might never have heard of, Plastic Soldier Company have some. Let's just have a look on. Let's go with the USA while it's here. They do them in different range, different scales, if you like. Let's have a little look at 15mm. And then obviously they do all sorts of kind of half tracks and Sherman tanks and bits and pieces. So they're a company that if you've never heard of them and you fancy picking up some reasonably priced World War II stuff, then check those out as well. Next up, we've got Moonstone by Goblin King Games. I mentioned this on the channel a little while ago. And it's a really fun game, and again, it's another one of those games that if you just want to paint something a little bit unusual, it's got a very kind of Discworld feel, very Terry Pratchett, a little bit kind of Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, that type of feel to it as well. So yeah, it's again something else to maybe check out. Another company that I don't often talk about on this channel as well, and again, if you're looking to kind of broaden your horizons, are Osprey Publishing. They're a publishing company who print books, but they are the company that you will find games like Stargrave by Joseph McCulloch, if that loads up. So they print the Stargrave books. They also do the Frostgrave books as well, which is the fantasy version as well. They also, in their wargaming series, they have games like Wars of the Republic and Absolute Emperor, which are kind of historical stuff. We've got Billion Suns, which is like I say naval combat because it works like naval combat, but it's basically like kind of spaceships and stuff. Zone Alpha, which is another one of those kind of miniature agnostic games that gets a lot of praise. There's things like Men of Bronze, Rebels and Patriots. We come down to things like Rogue Stars, Chosen Men, The Men Who Will Be Kings. There's lots of these different types of rule sets. Dragon Rampant is a popular fantasy fantasy game. And then, if that will go to page 2, they also have things like Fighting Sails, A Fistful of Kung Fu, Gods and Mortals. And so there's plenty of different kind of rule sets. They also do, which I was surprised that wasn't in that particular list, they also did the rule book for Gaslands as well. Maybe they don't do it anymore now, but the other one they do that you may have heard of is the Oathmark game as well. They print the rule books for Oathmark. So yeah, check out Osprey Publishing. They do a lot of stuff when it comes to military history and books around that, but there's a lot of stuff for miniature gaming as well. Next one up before we go back to chat for a second is the Drowned Earth Miniatures game by Olmec Games. I'm a fan of this game. I think it's a really cool system. It reminds me a little bit of Carnival in terms of the ability to kind of sort of craft your own stories and do some really cool things like jumping off buildings and sort of like a bit of parkour type movement and stuff. All metal miniatures, really, really nice quality. Not the cheapest, I would say, but very nice quality miniatures. There's everything in there from sort of dinosaurs to kind of sort of half human things like we've got this. I forget what it's called now. This gorilla. Let's see if we can scroll across here. There's things like these lizards in here. sort of dinosaur characters. This fella is one of my favourites that's in there as well. I've painted, I think if I remember, it wasn't the Artificers, but it was, if I can go back and find the faction. Let's have a look. It was the Wayfarers, I believe, where I painted up this fellow on a live stream once. If we can find him. And a lot of people thought it was like a Wild West Exodus model or something. I painted this guy up on a live stream not too long ago, and again, is a really beautiful mini. Yes, that is an elephant with a chain gun. So yeah, Drowned Earth, fantastic background universe as well. Really nice minis. And again, if you're just looking for something completely different, just to paint up and kind of spread your horizons a bit, it's another one that's definitely worth checking out. So, going back to the chat for a second and see where we're up to here. Tybreeze is saying, can we get a shout out for Perry Miniatures who do some cracking 28mm historicals? Absolutely, mate. Yes, Perry's always do really well with that kind of stuff. Vincent VT says Battle Group is awesome for platoon level games. Yeah, I see it's not something I'm familiar with, but my friend was very interested in it, and he's, like I say, he's moved away from 40k stuff, sold all his stuff off, and is kind of sort of up to his eyes in that game now, so he's absolutely loving it. Vincent saying, have you checked out Chain of Command by Two Fat Lordies? I've not really checked out a lot of historical gaming, if I'm honest, mate. I keep hearing about the Two Fat Lordies games, but I must admit I don't know really anything about them that much. Luke saying he plays bolt action 15mm scale, and it's almost exclusively Plastic Soldier Company minis. Insane value and fabulous quality. Good to hear somebody else's opinion, mate. Osprey games often end up cheap in bookshops there, and an even better reason to check them out. VG says, whoever named Last Argument of Kings needs some creativity lessons. It's no Lunchbox Rainbow. I think Crisis Protocols, though. There is a protocol when there's a crisis. I think that makes perfect sense. Gaslands was Osprey. Not sure if second edition still is. That might be why it's not there. I assumed it would be. And Hopeless is saying, oh yeah, Zone Alpha is a keeper for me. Andrew saying he's never read an Osprey rulebook he didn't like. High praise, mate. Derek Hodge says Gaslands version 2 has been out a while. Fantastic game and a laugh a minute. I knew it was on second edition, mate. Is it called... Not called Reloaded or something like that, is it? But I assumed it was still under Osprey. Maybe it's not now. Peter saying, yeah, I played Dragon Rampant, Lion Rampant, and getting ready to play Men Who Will Be Kings. Tyler says, I interviewed the creator of the Drowned Earth. Yeah, the creator of the Drowned Earth is a really, really nice guy. Actually, I've met him a number of times, and I spoke to him a little while ago now when they were doing their Kickstarter. He's kind of been a bit tied up with his obviously with COVID, and his wife's just had a baby as well not too long ago. So yeah, he's been hidden away in the background a bit, but getting ready. I think I just saw an update from the other day where the Kickstarter that they did, which was the Elia Chronicles, is kind of going into full production now. It's been delayed a little bit because of the COVID stuff, but I think not as bad as some companies have been. Refueled, Marco says, and somebody else is saying yes, Reloaded, Refueled, yeah, whatever it's called. I knew it was a something. That was what I remember. Silence is saying, yeah, worth reminding about Battlefront games responsible for Flames of War and Team Yankee. Recently became popular in my local shop. The old games group that I used to go to many years ago, there was a lot of guys played Flames of War back then as well. I think that's like 15mm scale as well, isn't it? Horizon Wars is a great rule set. I don't think I've heard of Horizon Wars, mate, if I'm honest. Yeah, so we'll dive back in again now, and we'll go to a bit of a different one this time, and this one is one-page rules, which crops up quite a lot on our chat as well. There's a few folks keep mentioning about it, but the creator of this game and the 3D resin miniatures and stuff, the 3D files, got in contact with me and said, "Well, I'd be interested in taking a look at it." And I've mentioned before, I tend not to take a look at a lot of kind of miniature agnostic games, purely based upon the fact is that I can't get people to play them locally. Really, I don't have a regular kind of opponent or anything, but I thought I would check these out more based upon the fact that they do a lot of 3D printed STLs and stuff I could look at as well. However, once I did look through the rule books, I must admit I was quite impressed with what they are. So one-page rules are kind of as they sound. The basic core rules come on one page. However, they are absolutely free. You can pledge with them on Patreon, which gets you access to their STL files if you've got a 3D resin printer or whatever. And it also gives you some extra bits like sort of squad builder kind of app type things, gives you some sort of deeper rules and a bit of sort of background lore and that type of thing. But if you just want to try them out, and especially if you are a 40k player who's getting a little bit kind of bogged down in the grind of a new codex every couple of months or whatever, and the amount of books that you have to buy, Grimdark Future and Grimdark Future Firefight really are. Firefight being like a smaller scale version in terms of the number of models, not in the physical scale. But Grimdark Future is very much influenced heavily by Warhammer 40k and has stats for you to use any of your current Warhammer 40k armies. So basically, if you come to their page, you can click on this. And then here you can see the basics are free. So there's core rules, there's army books, which basically give you all the factions. There's a basic rule book, which kind of explains the rules a bit more thoroughly. And then there's things like solo rules, campaign rules, competitive rules, mission cards, tokens, all that type of stuff. And then if you are a Patreon, you get the full rule book, which has got lots of additional content. The creators actually sent me the full rule books for all of the different systems, so I have seen what's in them. There's things like the points calculator that I said. There's stuff like narrative campaigns, even paper terrain if you just want to make like kind of paper dolls to make to play the game, and also the official miniatures that they create for you to print out yourself. But yeah, if you click on the core rules, you'll see here as it opens up, it is 2 pages. So for all it's 1 page rules, it's both sides of 1 page. But this is essentially all you need to do to play the basics of that game. And it covers everything. If you've played miniature games before, and especially if you've played things like 40k, you will fully understand. They've just basically kind of, it's not even simplified. It's just streamlined in terms of like, they don't have paragraphs to explain like a rule when one line will do kind of thing. There is, if I go back as well, there's an Age of Fantasy, there's a skirmish, and then there is a Age of Fantasy regiments, which is more rank and file as well. And then they also have a like a naval combat or sky combat, I should keep saying, Warfleet game as well. And they also have a few of these kind of little one-off games as well. Things like Death Ball, Dungeons and Glory, and bits and pieces. Again, these are all absolutely free. There's a one here that says Army Man Combat to get your old green army men out for a fight. So if you want to play something with younger members of your family, and you can go to your local pound store and pick up a bag of green army men kind of thing, there's some little rules that you can use for that type of stuff as well. Now, if you are a member of their Patreon as well, they have some really, really nice, actually, 3D files, and I've been printing some of the mummified undead ones off, which I was going to make into a Kings of War army actually. But yeah, they have some really, really nice ones. So check them out, have a look at them. They've not paid me anything. I'm recommending them because I've actually taken the time to have a look at them, and I think it's there's some really cool stuff. You can actually go and buy the physical models as well from Etsy. So if I go to the Etsy store, and just give you an idea, for example, these are some of the minis that you can see. It gives you an idea of what these 3D files are like. I have actually printed some of these out, and they come out absolutely beautifully. They're all pre-supported as well, which makes it fantastic. If you're new to 3D printing, you literally just put the file in, slice it up by pressing a button, and then press print, and they come out beautiful. So next one, I want to talk about 5 Parsecs from Home. It's published by Modiphius Entertainment or Modiphius Games, so that's why I've gone to their site. But it is a solo adventure wargaming which uses miniature agnostic rules. So basically, you can use any minis that you like, and it does get a lot of kind of good press as well. There are a lot of people say good things about it. So I think, again, if it's one of those things where you're looking to use old maybe 40k minis, or you've been sort of 3D printing like a madman or a madwoman for that matter, and you're just wanting to play some solo stuff. If, like me, maybe miniature agnostic games you've thought not really for you because you can't really get anybody else to play them with you, then some of these with the solo rules might well be something worth checking out. And then another company as well is Dead Earth Games, who is like kind of almost a one-man kind of show type thing, and he's really trying to get this off the ground now. He's got a few games going at the minute. So he's got Pirates of the Dread Sea, which I painted some of these pirates on my channel, and he's got a full rule book for that as well. The minis are really beautiful as well. He's also now started to release these as 3D files if you like 3D printing, but I must admit these metal minis that I had were really, really nice. And if we go to 3D printable minis, he's got another game coming soon as well. Another couple of games, actually. One is The Drowned and the Damned, which again is a naval combat game, a fantasy naval combat game. And these are all 3D printable minis. So there's things like dwarf ships and elven ships and stuff as well, which are very nice. There's some stuff to print off for the Pirates of the Dread Sea. And he's also got a new game which is coming out soon as well, called Beast Rider Wars. And these are some of the things that are coming with Beast Rider Wars. So it's kind of like a little skirmish game with folks riding beasts. Not much more to say about that. And again, these are all 3D printable files that you can print out. And I think the rules, or certainly the beta rules, are free at the moment as well. He sent me the files for these so I can have a look at them. I've not had time to print any of these things off, but as somebody else like me, really, who is really trying to kind of sort of get a foothold in the wargaming world and up against the big guys, if you like, I encourage you to kind of check them out and support them if you like that kind of stuff. So let me go back and check the chat again and see where we're doing. Excuse me. Buster Mazoo says, have we discussed Wild West Ecstasy yet? We have, mate. I did mention that one. Chris says, are there any historic games that are a bit more contemporary? It's funny because I always forget that things like sort of saga, like about Vikings and stuff. I forget about Wild West games being historical, really. So things like Dead Man's Hand. There are obviously Bolt Action is a bit more contemporary, really, in terms of like it's not historically accurate. It's a bit more like a kind of World War II kind of hero movie type thing. So there's plenty of stuff out there that are less rivet countery type thing as well. Andrew Fairbanks says, is there a company that does a good job of cheap civilians? I will get to that in a second, mate. Yag is saying, Batman Miniatures game is also really damn good. The models are mostly insane quality and their customer service has improved dramatically. That's good to hear, mate, because I've been massively put off Night models in the past, and I haven't put them in the list specifically because their customer service has been absolutely garbage, and they are another company who don't do marketing very well either. But yeah, it's good to hear things are improved in that case, because I'm a big Batman fan, and I would have been all over that if it wasn't for the fact that company's kind of been disastrous in the past. Nostock's saying the one-page rules extended rule books are available on Drive-Thru RPG. I didn't realise that, mate, so you can purchase them as well. Thanks for that. And Wargame Vault. Luke was saying, watching Marco and myself playing Star Wars Legion at the Expo really makes me want to get my Legion stuff done. I enjoyed it, yeah, I enjoyed it. Glenn says, it's one-page rules, but is the game any good? To be honest, mate, there's a couple of sort of YouTube videos which are showing how the game plays, and I've watched them to kind of get a better idea of it. And to be honest, it just seems like 40k to me, if I'm perfectly honest. So if you're into 40k, you'll find that this is almost a free version of 40k, where you're not constantly chasing kind of the latest codex and all of the kind of the updates and all the constant new minis coming out and changing up the meta and sort of buying new books every few weeks, and then the whole game changes again in 3 years' time. It just feels like a really stable version of basically of 40k. Nostock saying, great alternating action games from one-page rules. Bruce says, my two favourite indie rule sets are 5 Parsecs and Ragnarok, heavy metal combat in the Viking Age. I remember listening to a podcast where they were talking about Ragnarok. It sounded pretty cool, but I don't know much about it, to be honest. Captain Castle saying, I definitely check out one-page rules. Looks like an easy way to get my son's Space Marines to the table. 100%, mate. I think that's how a lot of people kind of sort of find it, because 40k, for all it's popular, isn't always the most accessible of games, I would say. Jason says, oh man, Lord, those Tomb games look so cool. They are pretty nice, man, I must admit. And Nostock saying your Kings of War armies can be used in Age of Fantasy Regiments game as well. James says Modifius make the Dune RPG, so therefore I like them. Modifius, I didn't actually mention when I talked about Modifius site, but they also make the Call to Arms. What's it called? The the name's gone from my name. Elder Scrolls game, and they also make the Fallout miniatures game as well. Captain Castle saying Core Space is worth a mention for Solo too. Yeah, Core Space is another great one, to be fair, mate. I just kind of oversight that I didn't include it tonight, to be honest. Jason said this is like a live Christmas catalogue for plastic addicts. Rob Fannelson, hello fella. He said, thanks Andy for showing a lot more options of games. I had the stream on but was listening to another stream. How very dare you, sir. Katie says, I was big into Marvel Universe mini game. Night models can do one. Yes, I know exactly what you mean, Kaylee, and that's one of the reasons I've never delved into the Batman miniatures game. I bought the Batman miniatures game 2nd edition rule book, which was the slightly better version of the first one after all the language kind of translation issues, and their customer service was absolutely abysmal, and they seemed to change the game so often they didn't really know what they wanted to do with it. I have heard some more positive stuff, and I know we've heard tonight as well that their customer service seems to be improving, but I need to hear a lot more good stories before I think I spend any of my money in that direction. Robson, One Page Rules has a set of rules that work for a really simple Code 1 stand-in called Double Tap. I didn't realise that. I haven't looked into those ones so much yet. ER910 says One Page Rules plays like a streamlined Warhammer. Both Grimdark and Fantasy use the same base rules. Jason saying, I wish another company would buy the Batman game. Yeah, me and you both. Yeah, Lord Maiden there just reminded me of the Elder Scrolls stuff. Walter said, I think a lot of these companies have issues with marketing more than anything else. GW does try hard to make people think wargaming equals Warhammer. They do, mate. I think if when I explain to people what I do, so people say like, so what do you do for a living? And I go, oh, like I do YouTube full time. I talk about miniatures games, and they go like miniatures games. And I go like Warhammer. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean now. So they have kind of convinced the world that they are miniature gaming. And unfortunately, I mean, a lot of these companies, it's because marketing technically is a sunken cost. You don't really make any money out of marketing. You make money out of the effect of good marketing, really, and that's where kind of like that's why I always say I wouldn't charge to kind of review something. I want to encourage these kind of companies to reach out and say, look, if I send you a box, will you take a look at it and just kind of tell your kind of viewers about it or something like that. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. It's more about like, will other people like it? Like if like. For example, like Malifaux have kind of sent me this box to have a look at, this Bayou starter box. And I'm telling you about it now. And those of you that don't know about it, now know about it. Those of you who don't know anything about sort of Malifaux now know about it. You now know that this includes like a fate deck, and it comes with scheme markers and a measuring gauge, and it comes with pre-assembled plastic miniatures. Like, if you don't follow Weird's marketing sort of like strategy, if you like, if you don't follow their social media channels, you'd never know about it. So that's why it works. Joy says, just start at the beginning. Appreciate the hello mate. Buster says, anyone have any experience with Mythos from Warcradle? The game itself is really good, mate. It feels a bit like a streamlined version, like a simplified version of Malifaux. However, it's just something that Warcradle are not pushing very hard at the moment. Not because it's dying or anything like that, but because they're putting all of their kind of weight behind dystopian wars at the moment, really. And I guess they can only focus on so much at any one given time. Trevor Chadwick says, thinking about starting Marvel Crisis Protocol, I prefer skirmish games, and Warcry feels too bloated now. Excited for Kill Team now. I tell you what, mate, if you think Warcry feels bloated, do not touch anything to do with Kill Team. Kill Team sounds like it's really, really complicated, even compared to old Kill Team from what I've been reading about today. So yeah, but Marvel is a great game. Captain Castle says, I think GW pushing their games far and wide is a great thing as long as channels like this exist. The problem is, I'm kind of getting off track a little bit now, but the problem is with stuff like what I do is most folks will not bother talking about all of the games that I've mentioned tonight because it just doesn't do enough views to justify the effort. My channel has never really been about the views. It's been about building a community and kind of about talking about the stuff that I'm excited about. And I managed to do this full time because that community that's grown up about all that, has grown around what I do, support me through things like Patreon and the donations and buying t-shirts and clicking on the affiliate links and all that kind of stuff, without kind of relying upon paid reviews, without relying upon sponsorships, without relying upon lots and lots of views based upon only covering the most popular or the most controversial topics. This could never exist. There's a reason there's not lots of channels like this. It's because most of them kind of start off with the best intentions and then realise actually that the audience isn't particularly huge for it. So I'm not saying this to kind of like, you know, like support me, pay me money kind of thing so I can keep going. That's not why I'm about to say this. But if you find channels like this channel, support them. Give them your thumbs up. Give them your subscriber. Make sure that you kind of tell them that they're covering the things that you like. If you've got a favourite channel that covers like sort of 5 parsecs from home, for example, or they make Malifaux videos, or they make Wild West Exodus videos, like, please appreciate the work that goes into making those videos is never rewarded, like in the amount of views that they get, and actually getting some nice feedback, getting some nice comments from viewers might be the difference between them keep going and keep doing it, or just thinking, you know what it is, it's just not worth it. I can't compete with all those 40k channels type of thing. I'm never getting enough views. Just support them, and it doesn't necessarily have to be financially. Just support them, tell them they're doing a good job, kind of keep up the good work kind of thing. You'd be surprised how far a nice comment goes. Scott says 90 watching and only 60 likes. Yeah, what the hell's up with that? Get them likes up, you losers. Christian saying time for bed. Thanks, Andy and Night. Or you are welcome, mate. Thank you very much, mate. And I'll speak to you. I might see you Wednesday on the live stream if you're out, but I'll speak to you Thursday for D&D as well this week. Peter's off. Nice to see you, fella. Take care. Walter says the new kill team is another opportunity to pay GW another £60 to £80 in rules to play the game with models you already own. James says there's some brilliant Carnival minis and they're quick to paint too. Trevor says I buy a lot of what you promote or talk about, but nobody plays. What was that? What happened there? Tony Howell donated. Thank you very much, mate. And what was that one as well? Jason, thank you very much for the nice comments and thank you for the donations. I wasn't kind of pitching for cash. All I'm saying is there's a reason that channels like this don't exist. Is because they never get enough support, be that from viewers or kind of like from views or likes or sort of support from companies. They never get that amount of support to kind of grow beyond that first few years. Like, I've been doing this 5 years in November this year, and if it wasn't for people kind of like building a community around this and supporting me in what was that one? Nostock. Thank you for, honestly, stop. That's not what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. It does help. I really appreciate it. But yes, so please. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about all the other creators, the ones that have got 300 subscribers, the ones that have just started and have got 5 subscribers. If they're covering the stuff that you want to see, then please make sure that you tell them that you appreciate it. Because honestly, you don't do this for the money. Like, you'll never get rich doing YouTube for starters. You'll certainly never make any money covering games that are not the most popular ones. So they genuinely do it because they love what they do. And there comes a point in time where you've invested hundreds of pounds in cameras and all that kind of stuff, and you're taking time away from your family to make videos, and it gets to a point where you think, the views don't justify the time I'm putting into this. And that's why most of them channels kind of die off before they hit like 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. I've been really lucky. I've got a massively supportive wife who is absolutely 100% behind what I do, and I've got a really, really amazing community who've helped me get to this point. But I appreciate completely that I'm a bit of an outlier here. I'm kind of a bit of a one-off in that terms. So yes, support those folks, the ones starting out. Keep them going. Tiberius says, what was that one now? Andrew Bourne, thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate that. What's that one as well? Buster, honestly, I I feel bad now. I was not pitching for this, honestly. I'm just trying to explain why you should support other channels, not necessarily this one. Sorry, where was I up to here? Trevor says, I buy a lot of what you promote or talk about, but nobody plays. Lots and lots of box toys. But only buy them, mate. Only buy them if you're getting your value out of them. I'm not trying to convince you to buy stuff. I'm trying to show you what's out there. And even if you buy them and just sit and paint them and get some pleasure out of them, then at least you're getting some kind of... Sunday Psych, thank you very much, mate. I can't actually... What was that? See there? Quick buy Andy Bacon sandwiches before he fades away. Thank you very much, buddy. Yeah, only buy them if you're getting value of them. If you're buying them to play and you're never going to play them, then it's probably not worth spending your money on them. But buy them because you want them. Buy them because you're going to get some value out of them. Robson, the advantage of talking about these smaller games is that you corner the market and can set the precedent if the production is solid. Also consistent view base. It's kind of a mixed bag, to be fair, because what happens is sometimes people come in and they think they're going to get a lot of sort of cover. If I talk about Moonstone, for example, and people subscribe because I covered Moonstone. What's this one? James Bray. Oh, bugger off, man, you lot. Thank you very much. What's this one? Oh, Lord Maiden. Oh, gosh, you're worth it. Oh, stop it. What was this one? Luke, you might not be talking about you, but we love what you do. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. I've lost the track. Yes, I'm massively fortunate to have an awesome community. Tybreeze says, dead on, how many channels today did an uninterested QVC style unboxing? Yeah, no, mate. Tyler, thank you very much for the nice comments, mate. Cripple Fox, John Jack says, I chime in on that. Comments are always welcome. 100% comments. In fact, go and check out Cripple Fox Gaming as well. Andrew, thank you very much. What's that one? Silencer. Thank you very much, Silencer. I really do appreciate it. Oh my God. Walter Black says, what was that one? I can't. Just going to add this until Andy gets rid of it. I think it doesn't take me. Tim Caffrey, thank you very much as well. Yeah, please check out everybody that's starting out. Tyler says, are you doing a show this Wednesday? Yes, I am doing a show this Wednesday, mate. Yet. James says, bloody hell, Andy, it's next Thursday for D&D. It's next week. I thought it was this week. I'm really getting mixed up now, mate. Kaylee Anderson, thank you so much, Kaylee. Honestly, you do not have to do that one. Dance for me, monkey. I'm not much of a dancer. I'm not much of a YouTuber either, to be fair. But I'm here now. Make it rain. Poor Andy. Oh my God. Where was I up to? Tony says, we're not doing it because we felt you were peddling it. We do it because we genuinely feel for you and think you deserve support. Thank you so much, folks. I mean, I mentioned a few weeks ago, I've been doing this channel full time now for just over a year now. About a year and not quite a year. Yeah, and a year and a month, I think now. So like 13 months. Stu McMurray, thank you very much. I can't read that from there. I can read it better on this screen from the side here. You look like you lost weight, Andy. Have a bacon sarnie. I think it's just the stress, mate. Captain F as well. Thank you very much, mate. I wish I'd never said it now. What was I even talking about? I've completely lost my track. Yeah, I've been doing this for about a year and a month now, and whilst I'm certainly not even making minimum wage, I love what I do. I love the fact I get to interact with you a lot, and I love the fact that it's allowing me to kind of do something that I love and I'm passionate about, and that I get to spend more time with my family as well, which was kind of one of the big things I never got to do when I had a full-time job, kind of working away from home a lot. So yeah, thank you for what you've all done for me. Andrew Fairbanks, thank you very much, mate. Well, tell us a few people we should go support instead and do the show and take the money. Bruce, thank you very much, Bruce. Say support the small creators, even artists, especially artists as well. Yeah, without artists, I can't do what I do. Glenn Griffin, thank you very much. Says keep carrying the torch for those lesser known games. Thank you, Scott Latham. Let's push him over the edge. Honestly, mate, I don't know if you can see, but I'm starting to get a bit sweaty now. I'm a little bit embarrassed and I'm a little bit sweaty, but thank you very, very, very much. Oh, Rob saying another great solo co-op set of rules from Patrick Todd of Exploit Zero and Nightwatch. Nice one, mate. James says, you know it's cheaper to talk about vinegar than it is to donate. Son, it's like very kind words, mate. Thank you. He says, we love you and your content, mate. You're a voice of reason and very entertaining. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, talk about opening Pandora's box. You are not. Thank you very much. Oh, well, what was I going to... Right. No more donations, right, please? I'm going to talk about something else. The thing I'm going to talk about is going to change the screen and your donations won't come up. So don't send any more donations, okay? Because they won't come up on the screen. Where are we at? Yes. If you're just into miniature painting, or you're looking for civilian miniatures, which you mentioned, or you're looking for some kind of cool minis that you can't get elsewhere, Hassle-Free Miniatures is another kind of company who just makes sculpted minis, old school hand sculpted metal minis, white metal minis, and they do all sorts of fantastic kind of unusual minis. And if you're into proper old school miniature stuff, check out Hassle-Free Miniatures. They do some bigger stuff as well, so they've got some like sort of 54mm stuff. If you're looking for stuff for like what they call it, miniature agnostic games and things like that, absolutely check them out. I can see more coming in there. Thank you very much, Greg Cherry, for your donation. Rob Fannelson, thank you as well for joining as a member. And Yoakum, thank you very much for your donation as well. Or it is coming up. It's still coming up on the screen there. I just caught them out the corner of my eye. That's it's not meant to come on the screen. That was why I said stop doing it. Yes, so Hassle-Free Miniatures, 100%. Next one I want to talk about is Bad Squiddo Games, another company. Annie is fantastic. She does some really unusual stuff that most companies would just go, it's not going to make me any money, I'm not going to do this. And she does some stuff, things like female miniatures, which she's kind of like specialised and kind of really sung for a long time. But she also does some really cool historical stuff, and she's also got a store selling other people's stuff. So things like Dead Man's Hand, Chain of Command for Two Fat Lordies, some Sarissa stuff there as well. She's got some colouring in stuff, and some kind of basin supplies and things as well. So let's have a little look. Let's have a look at the Bad Squiddo Miniatures and show some of these off. So she's got things like the Shield Maidens, which are like female Vikings and stuff like that as well. There is some World War II females, feudal Japan, some female vampires as fantasy stuff, and like proper female fantasy ones, not like in a kind of like a chainmail bra type stuff, a proper like kind of female warriors. And then there's some modern stuff in there as well. We'll just bring some of them up. So if you're looking for like some sort of female action heroes for your what they call like your urban apocalypse type games, there's some awesome stuff there. So please do go and check out Bad Squiddo Games as well. And then the last one on my list for tonight is going to be Warplock Miniatures as well. And these guys do, or this guy I should say, one guy does all the sculpting of this, does Ark World, which is a really cool game, really unusual. It's got a really different style as well, very, very much old school kind of sort of sculpted miniatures. But he's starting to do them digitally as well, but he's managed to capture that feeling of kind of sculpting in green stuff. He's managed to capture it digitally, and he's also doing some 3D printed stuff as well now if you want to kind of support him, I think through Patreon. Yeah. So he's got some 3D printable stuff as well, which you can pledge and support as well. So yeah, that's all the different ones I wanted to kind of to talk about tonight. It's kind of took the whole night, but I think it's we should show off some of these companies and give them the chance. If you do support any of these companies, if you go to their sites, if you sign up to their Facebook groups, if you buy anything, for example, let them know where you found out. It does them good to hear that people are talking about them as well, and are kind of putting the word out, and it helps me a little bit to kind of like to think that I've sort of helped them out a little bit as well. Where are we up here? Kath says, "You're so damn British. You're appreciated. Suck it up." I'm not a good salesman. I can't kind of like sell my Patreon and sell like my t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. I'm not good at selling myself as like a marketing person. I can sell other stuff. I'm great at marketing other people's stuff. I'm not good at selling myself, and I get embarrassed when people are nice to me. So that is very British, and I can't apologise for that. Bruce says, I like hassle-free minis, but the shipping cost to the US is just too much for me. That is something to bear in mind, folks, and kind of make sure that you do check out that a lot of these companies are UK based, because I'm more familiar with them. So please be careful with shipping. Mark Coxey, thank you very much. Long time lurker and Patreon supporter. I keep coming back as you're always 100% honest in your approach, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. John Jackson, best sculpts for realistic body types. Yes. Trevor Chadwick says, dude, check out hassle-free Scooby-Doo stuff for custom zombie scenarios. I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can. What will it be? It'll be under modern apocalyptic. Rather. I wonder if it's. I guess they can't call them Scooby-Doo, can they? If I put Scooby in, let's see what comes up. See if they do come up. And that's a slow search. Non-coms, modern martial artists, new moderns. I wonder where it comes under. I'll have to go back and check them out at some point. I found a Donald Trump, but I haven't found Scooby-Doo just yet. Yeah, we might have to come back and search for that one. Clearly saying the modern post-apocalyptic has some great, totally not famous characters. Yeah, I bought an Ash from the Evil Dead from Hassle-Free Miniatures many years ago, and a Hellboy. I think it was the first time I went to Salute. I bought those models from them. Tony saying, I love Kev White's work. He does some lovely work. Tybee used to say, Hassle-Free do nudie dolly models if you want to try your hand at sculpting clothes. I didn't know that, mate. I would never have assumed that's what they were for. Johnson, again, wonderful stuff. Tony says, Bad Squid will do some brilliant, sensibly dressed women, which I really like. Yeah, I like the kind of the approach. I like the fact that Annie's somebody else as well. I kind of started off crocheting dice bags many years ago. Actually got some kind of repetitive strain injury in her hands and stuff from doing all that crocheting when things started to take off. And had to kind of branch out into something different. She's kind of one of those people that you kind of you wish everybody kind of had a similar, not a similar story, but like kind of came from the same place, if you like. Like I came into it with sort of just wanting to do something better, wanting to kind of change the industry, just even in a tiny little way kind of thing, rather than with their pound notes in their eyes. So yes, support these people like Kev, who've been at Hassle-Free Miniatures and who've been sculpting for years and still do it the old traditional way, and all these different creators, and even all the way up to people like sort of like Mantic and Atomic Mass Games. Yes, they might be bigger companies in sort of within the miniature gaming world, but they still employ freelance creatives, freelance artists, freelance sculptors, freelance rules writers. It still takes all those people who are really like, they're not in it for the money, they're doing it because they love what they're doing. So it's another reason to kind of check out all that kind of stuff. Kaylee says you can't go on any site and not check out the War Pigs. Sorry, I must bring them up. Then let's go Bad Squirrel Minis. Yeah, let's. There we go. There's the War Pigs. We've got Bunny and heavy support. Yes, and he is very much a lover of guinea pigs. But let's have a look at this one. We've got a Gunny Bunnies pack, which is currently out of stock. Let's have a look at that one instead. My God. I don't think I've ever seen these before. War Pigs and Chums. I like it. I like it a lot. Please go and check the site out. There's some cool stuff there. Where are we up to? Where were we up to here? Yeah, Robert says, did Andy talk about Conquest? I briefly mentioned it earlier on, mate. I don't know a lot about it these days since it's kind of changed a bit, but I wasn't overly keen on it when it first came out. Walter says, apart from all the cool miniature producers, there's a wealth of awesome digital artists as well for those with 3D printers. 100%. We might do another stream a different time on all the different sort of Patreons and sculptors that are out there. Paul says, I'm not a massive fan of Bad Squiddo's own sculpts. They sell a lot of stuff from third parties that are pretty good, but I haven't been overly impressed by their own miniatures. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, mate. We all like different stuff. I'm not particularly a huge fan of old school sculpted style, but I know lots of people are. John saying, g'day Blackjack Legacy, I already play games not produced by GW, Gaslands in particular. Good to see that, mate. Hassle-free Scooby-Doo, I'm going to have to try and find it now. Captain Castle says there's very little the UK is good at anymore. It's nice that Little Soldiers are still on the shortlist. You're not wrong, mate. So it's like I buy these smaller company games and get interested in them, but small town being what it is, it's hard to find people who want to play. Michael Cowan, thank you very much, mate. Time for one more. There's always time for one more, isn't there? One for the road, eh? Thank you very much, buddy. Greg says, I dropped a few $100 on Hassle Free when Last Days came out. Only way to make shipping worth it. Yeah, there is that. Or like kind of chip in with friends as well and kind of do that. James says, one of the Rumble Slam minis is based on Glottis from Grim Fandango, the greatest video game ever made. I don't disagree, mate. Grim Fandango was awesome. Nostock says, quick everyone to the t-shirt store. Lord Maiden says, now there's a miniature only saying, I found a Donald Trump but not a Scooby-Doo. Fiji saying, I bet the Trump mini is the villain for the Scooby-Doo set. Just pull off the face mask. They're listed as Hassle for Post APOC Gang 5. Right, let me see if I can let me sort of be Post APOC Gang 5. Let's have a look and see if they're under Modern Adventurers. What was the number again? Let me just check that. I've got to try and find them and show them, haven't I? Where are we? HFA 093. HFA 093. Let's have a look. Thank you very much. I have just seen. So 093. There we go, folks. I have found it. Thank you very much, Tiberius. Thank you for your searching there. So yeah. So this is our gang of meddling teens are joined by their adventures in one big pack by a faithful, if a bit scaredy, K9. Bonus pack contains Hamlet, the Great Dane, plus one each of the teenagers. These are the tooled up versions. Nice, man. I like those. £16 off at the minute. Sorry, not £60 off. It says that they've been discounted to £16.68 at the moment, plus VAT. Very nice models they are too. Yeah, nice one, mate. Nice one. Thank you for finding that for me. Johnson, he also has the Osprey rule set. Tomorrow's War being one. I've not tried those ones. Just I think Andy earned his minimum wage tonight. I think I've more than done all right. Thank you very much. I might actually be able to get a cup of coffee with my bacon sandwich now. Jason says, got my like in. 78 likes. If anybody hasn't hit the like button, go and hit the like button. It really does help. Where are we up to as well? Lord Maid says, I spent 20 minutes looking for this guy's left foot, realised it was a cross. Vijay says, having a wife that loves guinea pigs, I now have a newfound Christmas gift. Thank you, folks. There you go, mate. There you go. Silencer says, a Great Dane, truly a knockoff Scooby-Doo. How very dare you. Walter says, it's not about hating GW. Yeah, it's just more about showing people that there's more talented people and designers out there. Like, you can say what you want about GW as a company and all that kind of stuff, but the people that work there are still talented, passionate people who want to write gaming law. They want to write good rules. They want to design fantastic minis. They want to paint amazing paint jobs. Like, people who get into this as a line of work are not in this for the financial reward. They want to earn a wage that kind of means that they can do what they love to do. But anybody involved in kind of tabletop gaming outside of the big sort of CEOs and owners of some of these companies are really in this for the love and passion. So no matter how big the company is, the games that we buy and the miniatures we buy and the games we play, if you like, are all created by people who are just kind of pouring their heart and soul into this kind of stuff. Sansa says, yeah, Ninja Watchers, I see 6 if you did not like the stream. Click it, guys. We got to 83. Do you think we can get, we've got 95 viewers in. Do you think we can get that 83 to 100 before the end of the night? I'm sure we must have 17 people who've not clicked the like button tonight. If we can hit 100 tonight, I would be blown away. John says, I have about 40 models painted for heavy gear too, and I have rule sets and codexes to play for every edition of 40k, so I may revisit one of those. Yeah, GW want to hire the best talent as long as they don't think for themselves. I think they want to hire people who, like, let's not get away from them. We touched on this like a little bit last week. People who join GW generally don't have a track record of already working in the industry. GW are really good at bringing people in who are talented and maybe coaching them and training them in the GW way, maybe, but surround them with really good people and develop them into even better law writers, rules writers, miniature painters, sculptors, whatever it is. And then a lot of them people go on, once they kind of trained up, if you like, go on to create their own companies and go freelance and bits and pieces. So whilst GW might be the evil corporation in some folks' eyes, without GW, a lot of these other companies wouldn't exist either, because nobody else would give these people a chance, really, to kind of develop their skills and hone their skills. Like people like James Hewitt didn't have a big track record in miniature game design when he went to Games Workshop. He kind of co-wrote Dreadball for Mantic, or certainly worked on Dreadball for Mantic alongside his name's gone out of my head now, but somebody else who used to work at GW first and now works at Mythic Games. I can picture his face, but I can't say the name. I can't think of his name. But yeah, a lot of people get their first step in the door in the miniature industry, if you like, with a regular wage and a little bit of job security, and they learn a lot from GW. So yeah, love them or hate them, I think they still do a lot of good for the wider industry as well. TG Brain Drain says, I remember to click the like button. Lovin says, that would blow you away, not the amount of donation. The amount of donations, mate, have absolutely floored me. I can't really kind of put that kind of stuff into words, but it's just it's like if I'm doing a stream that's not about Warhammer and it gets 100 likes, that's really unusual. That's what I'm trying to kind of mean about. The donations are a completely different kettle of fish. Cat Smith says, teenagers just explained how to like. I have now liked. Man, I'm old. John says, don't get me wrong, I've loved GW stuff since the 70s, but I'm not happy with their constant price increases. I think price increases is going to become a thing for all companies at the moment, with everything that's going on with shipping and material supply and stuff, but I do know what you mean. Trevor says, despite GW, I just assembled the Beast Snagger box. They're such cool minis. Captain Nurse says, I won't click it so that I can click it again. Thank you very much. Tyler Peck says, for a beer and pretzels game, what's your beer of choice? Oh, I'm quite partial. There's a local brewery to me, which is called Black Storm Brewery, and it's kind of very, very close. Connor, thank you very much. I haven't got 5 extra likes, but here's a $5. Thank you very much, mate. What was I going to say? Local brewery to me called Black Storm Brewery, and they do like a porter beer, which is, for those that don't know, Guinness is like a porter, like a dog beer, and it's flavoured with vanilla and bourbon whiskey, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is called Thunderstorm, and yes, that's my beer of choice. But I do like a Guinness, I must admit. Kaylee says you can dislike it and then like again, it still counts as engagement. I don't know what it does actually. It might do actually, yeah. John says, I got a bunch of North Star miniatures for Stargrave, and for me they are fantastic value. Tiberius says, bizarrely, I've not got a 5, but have got 5 extra likes. Silencer says, I know there are more Ninja Watchers out there. Click the damn button, guys. We're at 98. I'm sure we can squeeze one more out. I can't even like it myself, because that would be just cheating. But we are starting to wrap up now. We're getting up to 11 o'clock. Let's see if we can hit 100 before the end of the night. But yeah, I want to say a massive thank you tonight. Tonight you have absolutely blown me away tonight with your generosity and your support. But the point I was trying to make, I will go back and say this: please support those smaller creators, be those like kind of some of the companies we've talked about, or YouTube channels and things like that. If you've got somebody that you like their kind of their Instagram account, or you like watching their YouTube channel because they cover an obscure game that nobody else does, just reach out and put a comment on one of the videos and just tell them how much you appreciate it. Because I tell you what, it can become a bit of a lonely world, especially when you're first starting out. And even like as I get a little bit sort of bigger, I'm not a big channel, but I'm bigger than some of the smaller ones. You'd be surprised how much negativity you get from folks that just expect, like, people expect stuff as you start making more videos and things, and if it's not what they want, they're quite quick to tell you and stuff, and that can knock a lot of people who are maybe not as strong-willed or maybe don't have as thick a skin or whatever. And it's quite daunting to put yourself on camera, especially when you're first starting out. So yeah, support those kind of new creators, support those artists where you like their work online. Support those miniature painters who you appreciate that they show you how to do something that you don't know how to do, or maybe they show you that there's an easier way, or how to do some shortcuts and stuff. Just pass it around, or pay it back, or pay it forward, whatever they call it. Just like kind of sort of just tell them that you appreciate what they do. It makes a massive, massive difference. Tiberius says, 102 we're saying. Very, very cool. Thank you very much, folks. I never thought we'd get to that. Top work team, he says, Scott Latham, 104. Tiberius is a Bellhaven best man, and I like a Thistley Cross cider. I do like a cider in the summer, mate, I'll be honest. Yes, we'd definitely love to try that Thunderstorm. I think you can buy it online, but it's made locally. It's like, I mean, the brewery is literally about a 5-minute drive from my front door. And they've got, where the brewery is, they've got like a tap house where you can just go and sit and kind of have a beer at the brewery, and it's pretty nice. Tyler Peck says, I'm sipping a Bud Light. I do actually quite like a Bud Light, mate. And John says, they're pricing me out of the market for their product, but just as well, with the amount of stuff I bought over the years, I'll have stuff to build and paint for decades. I know that feeling, mate. Jake Thornton, that was the name I couldn't remember. I knew I've just saw it on the bottom of the screen there. I knew that's exactly who I was trying to think of, mate. Yes. But yeah. I forget the point I was talking about, but yeah, Jake Thornton is the one I was thinking about. He wrote Solomon Kane for Mythic Games as well. So on that note, we are coming up bang to 11 o'clock. It's been a perfect evening. You lot have been more than generous. I've really appreciated everything that you've done tonight. You've kind of put a bit of a smile on my face as well, even if I am a little bit embarrassed by it. But it's just have an absolutely awesome few days. I will see you on Wednesday for the Wednesday painting live stream. I'm actually going to take one of my boys away, my older lads. I'm taking one of them away at the weekend for a couple of nights. Rob Fannelson, you little beggar, thank you so much, man. Says the other stream was an update to a video game I was watching earlier. I felt dirty. There's plenty of content to go around, mate. Support everyone. Thank you very much, folks. Yeah, John says, no kidding, old Jake Thornton ended up over at Mantic. He was freelance, mate. He wrote the Dreadball rules for them. WM, hello, says, I wish North Star produced more miniatures. I really like their sculpts. And yeah, thank you very much, folks. I will see you all on Wednesday. I need to double check that D&D date, and I was convinced it was this Thursday, but it must be the Thursday after now. Anyway, have an awesome week, folks. I will see you on Wednesday. We might put if you're not a member of my Facebook group, please check out what's it called, BlackJack Legacy Community Facebook group or something titled like that. Please check it out. Please come and join up. Because I think I might put a vote tomorrow to see what we're going to paint on Wednesday. I'll give you 2 or 3 options and I'll let you lot decide. So thank you very much, folks, and I will see you all on Wednesday if you come. Take care, folks. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. I've just got to come back. I've just read James Bray's comment. No, we can't get back to the 40k content next week. See you, folks. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it, and if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done.
If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.